to the cloud. Talk to me, Cleveland. Welcome to Chill Talk. This is your brother, Kevin Chill Hurd. And I believe that is the super producer, Felicia Haney. I'm not quite sure what she's looking at. She got new high-tech devices. We're going to need to, Haney, talk to me, super producer.
It's the Oculus.
I knew that you were going top level on it.
I've been messing around with it. I couldn't get on. I tried to log on through my new computer first, but for some reason, it would not allow me to get on. I'm not sure. I realized that maybe I didn't have Zoom downloaded because I don't think I've used it since I got this computer. But then I downloaded it and it still won't launch. It wouldn't launch the from the link. It wouldn't launch Zoom. So had to go pull out the old computer and get set up.
Okay, Joel Lutenberg, what's happening, Joel? Joel said that you were in the metaverse. So what have you been?
Go ahead.
The Academy Tavern. I see the other team won in trivia the other day. First of all, what's up, Chavis? Hey, Chavis, I'm waiting for that book, King. Yeah, I got the information that I know the book is on the way. You know, hey, you know, I not only am I supporting you just because you know you my brother. I bought the book. I got my prepaid money in because I'm checking for this book, bruh. Can't wait to have you on and talk to you about the book. But yeah, so what's up, Chavis? Juju in the building, Joel Lutenberg, one of our regular viewers. So Felicia, real quick. So are you with the Oculus? What have you got? What is the experience? What have you seen?
I watched this short film called Traveling While Black, which was pretty cool. So it talks a little bit about like the whole Green Book situation, but it goes into some other things as well. And they actually interviewed Tamir Rice's mom.
Samir, okay, nice.
So there's a Cleveland cameo in there as well, but it's just literally you feel like you're sitting right there with these people in a diner. Like you turn to the side, somebody's sitting right next to you. You got somebody across from you talking. It's people sitting, you know, on the stools. It's really cool. So yeah, we'll have to get together so I can let you see it. I've done that. I played a couple of games.
Get together. I want you to buy me one. Where'd you get it from?
It was gifted to me.
Oh, is that how we doing it now? Okay. All right. Okay. I see how we doing it. Hey, my cousin is in the building. Don't ask me which cousin. You know which cousin.
Ooh.
Sweet Dirty Tone is in the building. Sweet Dirty Tone up in Atlanta, up in the ATL. What's going on? Tone in the building. Is that tweet I see in the building too?
It could be. I'm just look, now that I'm trying to go on Facebook with my other computer and realize that I haven't logged on Facebook with this one either. So it's asking me for codes and everything. So I am not even on the Facebook page yet.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, well, while you checking for that, let me answer Joel's question real quick. Joel, because I told everybody before you got here that we were giving away tickets to one of two Sidney Poitier films, and that's one of my favorite films, not just one of my favorite Sidney films, one of my favorite films, period, Heat of the Night. They Call Me Mr. Tibbs. So man, if you've never seen that on the big screen, man, when Sidney smacked the spit out that old redneck racist dude's mouth, I think he knocked some of his crown out his mouth up in the hot house. Woo, you got it. That was a back smack. Man, they call that the cinematic smack heard around the world. Black brothers wasn't smacking up white people in movies like that. They ain't let that this wasn't a blaxploitation film. They don't let, brothers can't be smacking white cats like that in movies. Man, that was deep. Hey, the white dude looked at Sheriff Gillespie. He said, Gillespie, did you see that? Like, he said, yeah, I saw it. He said, what you gonna do? He was like, I don't rightly know. Like I ain't never seen that happen before.
Right.
So yeah, so we will be giving away some tickets to that. There's a 2:20 showing that you can choose or a 7:15 showing. And there's also two showings of Lilies of the Field, which is what Sidney Poitier won his historic Oscar Academy Award, the first time a black man has won an Academy Award for a lead role. First time brother won an Academy Award for any role. The second time a black person won any Academy Award. So, and it was not no brother got another lead actor award until Denzel got it in Training Day. So we'll be giving away some tickets. I'm gonna let the super producer figure out what are we gonna give the tickets away for. Now, Joel asked me, had I seen Will Smith in 6 Degrees of Separation? First of all, Felicia, that was my first movie review that I ever did.
Really?
Yeah, that was first movie, and I matter of fact, I saw it at Cedar Lee. Went to Cedar Lee, one of those day screenings. It might have been, you know how those are. It might have been like 6 people there in and we know that the usual suspects who are normally there. So of the other media people. So yeah, that was the and once and I'll move on from this real quick. What was interesting to me as the movie, you know, was saying that Will's character was saying that he was Sidney Poitier's son. And I was like, oh, there was a blizzard that day too. And I know, Felicia, like you've heard me, sometimes I have problems with, you know, with some old school actors, like, you know, couple, well, not just old school, but me and a couple actors had some beef. But Sidney is not one of them. And I knew the direction that this was gonna go. And I hope this is not a spoiler alert. And I don't know if you heard me say this, Felicia, but I know you're gonna be looking at me like this. Chill, you need to really stop with this. But Sidney Poitier married my cousin and Juanita, and they have 4 kids. So Pam is probably the most known because she's done some acting. But yeah, so and Sidney has all daughters. Even his other marriage produced 2 other girls.
And one of them passed away a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I forget. Not one of my cousins. But anyhow, yeah, before Sidney's kids are my cousins. So I knew we had all girls while I'm watching Will's character say that he was Sidney Poitier's, trying to pass his way off as Sidney Poitier's son. And it was Will's first time in like a feature film in a lead. And it was my first time. And I'm like, okay, you know, because everybody knows that I know Will Smith from the hip hop days. And so it was my first time as a journalist reviewing a film. And there's, you know, one of my contemporaries starring in the film, who I later had beef with. But me and Will was good up until that day. We was good that day.
Got beef with everybody, okay?
Oh, it's not just me that got beef with people. Don't act like I'm the only one out here with beef with. We ain't gonna go there.
You talking about you.
Right, I just talk about it. But yeah, so yeah, no. And so Felicia's gonna be thinking of how we're gonna give some tickets away. So what's happening since last week, Haney?
Oh, we have another guest on the show tonight as well, who's going to join us. Our good friend Andre Bustamante.
My man, that's my brother.
Ansar Bustamante.
Ansar, that's my brother from another. Call him Post family forever.
Yeah. So he's gonna join us to talk about, and he's been on the show before. He came on a couple of years ago, I think, when we did a Martin Luther King.
Right. He was at the studio. He was at the studio, maybe more than once at the studio. And then he's been on since we've been in quarantine.
He came on in quarantine?
I think so. Maybe not. But he's definitely been in the studio when we're at Radio 1, when we were broadcasting from the radio station prior to quarantine.
So we Yeah, we're gonna have him on the show tonight. So that's pretty cool. He'll be our second guest. So if you guys want to hang around till the 9 o'clock hour.
And Ansar, he knew Martin Luther the King.
Not only did he know, I mean, I don't have the photos with me. He's got like photos with the man and everything, like sitting on his lap. This is Uncle Martin.
Uncle Martin Luther the King.
Uncle Martin Luther the King.
So yeah, so we get some exclusive MLK the man, not just the myth, from somebody who were friends of the family and his uncle, and you'll hear all that information. So that's cool. Real quick, Felicia, people saw and Sean is in the building. Sean killed it on Friday. Except we didn't even get a chance. We got to do a part two on Friday to go over the last 2 chapters of Sean's book and any updates to the book, What SARS-CoV-2 Taught Me. So we're going to be back with Sean. And Sean, hot off the press, Dr. Cole will be there again. So Benita Cole will be joining us again. And this time we will be joined by Mary Ellie Luongo, who was kind of the coordinator. She was supposed to be there before, but she got into a car accident. She's the coordinator, but somebody hit her, but she was fine. But she had to argue with the lady. She'll give us that information. Anyway, she is the coordinator of the CLE Guardians, not the baseball team. But for anybody that saw me doing the commercials or on the billboards or the posters, bam. There
it is.
So she is the coordinator of that effort. She coordinated the commercial. She's out on the block with me, Lee Harvard, with the camera saying, "Come on, Chill, look at the camera." And in the barbershop and telling the barber to actually cut my face. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. We're gonna give the illusion I'm getting. We're not doing that with a straight razor live, not live, but we're not doing that. I love my barber, but we not. So anyway, she can explain herself with that one. So she was one of the. Hey, I've been cut with a straight razor by a barber when we weren't filming a commercial. So,
well, I hope that ain't your barber no more.
That's another discussion. But we had to talk. But yeah, no. So Mary Ellie Luongo will be there, and she has loads and loads of story to tell on this journey. But Sean, this Friday, 7:00, the lady from CLE Guardians, Dr. Benita Cole, our man Sean P. Last 2 chapters plus any updates. Real quick, some people saw me at the bookstore again. Man, Felicia, I got this book for $5, and that's for anybody, not just for me. Voices of the Harlem Renaissance.
Yeah, Adam bought that book last time we were there, but it wasn't $5.
It's $5. It was $5 today.
Wow.
And you see $5, and that's without my discount. I ended up paying like $3 for this book. But yeah, Voices of the Harlem Renaissance. I also got What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Blacker.
All right.
So young brother breaking it down. And then, I got to jump back out there with some science, fun science for when I talk to the babies, to the youth, and can breaking it down in a language they can understand. And all of them books were under $8. You just got to know how to get it in. I'm talking about for everybody, not for me, not because I got connections. You can go there tomorrow and get the book for $5. So yeah, I got it in. My 2022 book throwdown is cracking already.
Now, when are you gonna read these books?
$50 books for about $13. Well, the science book, I'm gonna go through that, and I'm gonna see, you know, when I start talking to the kids, especially for the you know, the nonprofit My Cool Solutions. Uh, I will probably also get one of these books on audio and kind of go. Sometimes, if I'm really interested, I'll listen to it and I'll go back to the book and I'll mark it up. So yeah, but I'm still like two books in from the holiday. All right, let's Felicia. We do have Brenden, which I understand was a former intern with us at the Calling Post.
Yeah.
Were you there when he was there?
I don't recall. Well, I know that he graduated CSU in 2014, so I would imagine that he was there when I was there. He had to be because Rhonda was there when he was there.
Was he there? Were you a full-time employee or were you an intern?
I don't think he that old.
Lisa, remember I had the other intern and she started crying. Lisa, remember I had the other. But do you remember that?
You know, on Facebook on my phone.
Remember the girl start crying. The other intern.
I don't remember her crying. What happened?
Y'all was sitting there together. Y'all was both sitting there together. And the girl, I forgot what she was crying. Anyway, are we ready for Brenden? Hopefully he wasn't an intern there crying.
I don't think so. I hope he's ready. I told him we weren't coming to him till 8:30, so I'm not sure.
Okay, so we got a few minutes. I mean, he's there, but yeah,
Well, I mean, I didn't want you to come on and he's not in front of the computer.
Right, I got you. So we'll still wait. We'll still wait for a little while, but my goodness. Okay, so real quick, I see that the team that made us come back to the trivia day, that made us come back and put the bully beat down on the whole building. I saw that they won the trivia contest on Tuesday.
Yeah, they won last night, but you know, it wasn't much competition. I got there late. I went to my nephew's basketball game. So by the time I got there, they were already on round 3. So I had missed half of it. So I think I got every answer right in round 3. And then I got one question wrong, which made me get 2 questions wrong in round 4 because I didn't know what the gem state was or the gem state's capital.
Right. So they that's how they get you on the double up.
Yeah. So yeah,
if you get one wrong, you committed to stay in the state. If you don't know the capital city and the state, if you got the state wrong, then you're not gonna. Yeah, that's 2 questions wrong. Yeah.
So come to find out, the gem state is Idaho. I would have never guessed that. I don't even think of gems when I think of Idaho. I just think of potatoes.
Remember, we tried to dispute the answer. The one time that we were playing, was it the Cleveland, the Cleveland International Film Festival, and we were playing, and they had an answer, and we were disputing the answer, and dude had to go get a clip from the movie to make us be quiet.
Oh yeah, that was online. We were doing it online, so online trivia.
Yeah. We were about to riot. Did we had the right answer? The moderator had to go get the movie clip.
Hey,
and we still was trying to dispute it.
You better do what you got to do to prove us wrong.
We're not used to having wrong answers. We was disturbing the peace at that event. So I don't know why we went out there and act like that in front of all them people.
I don't know. So yeah, shout out to Academy Tavern, who gave me this cool mask. Shout out to Academy Tavern, one of our favorite places to frequent. And so if you ever want to come and see me and chill, kick some butt and trivia, on a Tuesday, come through.
Come through and see us work. We the undisputed bully beatdowners of the whole building. So
absolutely. So what else has been shaking this week, last week? Well, we were off last week.
Yeah, we were. Were we? Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we
this is
were.
our first show of the new year.
All right. Happy New Year, everyone. And you
Happy
know
New
what?
Year,
And I do have to
everybody.
apologize because there's not much verbiage in the description because I just left an executive board meeting for the Black Journalists Association, and they're probably still meeting. I said, guys, I have to go to start Chill Talk. So I didn't really have time to put in a lot of information about the show, who the guests were. I just zoomed over and got the information in. I do want to say that we don't have a lot of Cleveland people. Man, we got people. Man, Juju is in Florida. Joel, he's in New York. Sean is in Nashville. Tone is in the ATL. I don't know where Chavez is at. Chavez, where are you at?
All over, huh?
Your sister might be the one winning all of these free movie tickets. But a Sydney, I think is fixed, like Connie Harper used to say. The fix is in.
Yes. No fix, come here, you win stuff from Chill Talk. We look out for our people. And I mean, the cost is very minimal. How much do we charge, Chill?
For this specific film, these tickets, the cost is for the free.
For the free. Y'all always get it for the free. So, keep checking us out and winning cool stuff. So what's the MLK plans? Is anybody doing anything special for MLK weekend or MLK day in particular? I think his actual birthday is on Saturday, but we'll be observing the holiday on Monday.
On Monday.
Oh, shout out to my grandfather. I don't know if we talked about no, we didn't last time I was on. So my grandfather turned 93 on January 6th. So he and Martin Luther King would have been the same age. They're like a week apart. So they would have been the same age had he still been here with us. So yeah, shout out to Arthur Thomas Scruggs, also known as AT.
AT!
AT 93.
Nice.
So yeah, I went over there and hung out with him. We had a nice little chat. We were there, I was over there for a little while, and then everybody else, he had all these people. He has a Facebook account, so like all of these people were coming on, wishing him happy birthday. Of course, he doesn't know. He didn't even create the account. My niece created it. He on there like his white suit.
Your niece, the one that said I couldn't play baseball?
Yeah. You know the one. He all right.
And then after I start launching them balls out the park, she's like, he all right.
He all right.
Don't doubt my baseball skills.
So yeah, he had a seafood boil on Sunday. So he been partying for his 90th.
AT been getting it in.
Yes.
Real quick, Felicia, do you remember the Boondocks episode where Martin Luther King did not die? He got shot, but he came back.
Yes.
And he kept seeing all this foolishness that was out here advertising his name and how black people was out here clowning. And he kept saying, I got my ass whooped for this. Surgical is in the building. He's in Nashville. Serious Effects Rhymes Giving Education. One of the dopest Surge bars. He said, we went from kings to queens to this bullshit. Serge, that was a dope rhyme. Serge, I was talking about you the other day when I was talking about we was in Chicago and the rap battle broke out underneath the L train and for the money. And we saw that same dude after you beat him down in the rap battle the next year. And shots almost got popped. Yeah, that was a crazy Chicago story. He got a little rowdy. Went from a rap battle to something different.
To the we can't talk about it.
And then we can't talk about it. Well, Serge remembers he was there.
It's 8:30 now. So do you want to bring in our first guest?
I can bring him in, and maybe he can also help come up with a question even though there's no Cleveland people in here except for your sister. Wait a minute. Matter of fact, I'm looking. It's 10,000 people in the building. Somebody getting these tickets. All right. I see we have Brenden. Go ahead and unmute, brother.
There we go.
What's going on, King?
Hey, welcome to Chill Talk. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing pretty good.
All right, Felicia, you want to give some introductions or lead him to an introduction before we find out his Call and Post background and when he was there. Who did he know? Okay, first of all, let's get this brother in here.
Well, the Call and Post, the intro, that's what led to him kind of being on the show, actually. So I saw someone had reposted a post that he made about an upcoming exhibit at Cleveland State. And I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. So I think it was in the story. I clicked on it, went to his page, started checking it out. And I was just like, okay, I'm feeling this. This looks pretty dope. So actually it was Rhonda. It was Rhonda Crowder who had posted it.
Okay.
Or reposted it. And so I sent Rhonda a message first, like, hey, I was like, do you know this person? And she was like, yeah, he used to intern at the Call and Post. I was like, what? So I was like, well, I'm going to reach out to him to be on Chill Talk. So yeah, she was like, definitely do that. So I sent him an email. We chatted a little bit. He said he would love to be on, and here we are. So welcome once again. So glad that you were available to come on the show and talk to us about what you got going on.
Okay, before I need to know his Call and Post credentials. He was an intern. Were you there? Did you see us there?
Yeah, actually, I met you several times, and I met Felicia at Call and Post. I done bumped into her like when I've been out with Rhonda, because like Rhonda, like number one, Rhonda is like my mentor, my sensei, my everything. You know what I mean? When it comes to writing, like I met her when I was 17, when I was getting ready to graduate from Horizon.
Wow.
And we just been locked in like ever since, and she had me at the Call and Post. I published in there a couple times. I had the cover of the entertainment section once. I wrote about Crybaby Gangster.
Yeah, but you look different. You don't look the same.
Oh no, I was at the time I was 18, naked face.
Yeah, you didn't have the beard and stuff. So now I'm like remembering as you're talking, and I'm like, I didn't recognize you because you were looking different back then. Okay, I got you.
I remember the Crybaby Gangster story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wrote that. I was like, I think that was like my last year at Cleveland State, or like my second to last year at Cleveland. So that was like 21, 22 when I wrote that. But yeah, that was my Call and Post history. I got it somewhere around here.
Okay, well, I'm glad we gave you a chance to get a front page joint.
Yeah, that was like a big deal. I think that's still on my IG somewhere. If you like.
All right, well, you know the whole fam. So you rolled in with Rhonda, so you got a chance to build with me and Felicia up at the Call and Post newspaper, over 100 years old African American newspaper. All of us.
Did you ever get cussed out by Miss Glow? That is the
say you're official if somebody cussed you out.
No, I never got cussed out. I will say Rhonda gave me a lot of harsh rejections and edits, like my first couple go rounds of trying to get published. Like I think the whole first summer I was there, like she didn't publish like none of my stuff because it wasn't up to par yet. And I was like, that was one of the best moments of my life though. Like she was so real about it. She was like, nah, this ain't it. Every time it was like the whole summer. I think I finally published a feature at the end of the summer. It was probably like August, September, but yeah, it was like it took a while to actually get some in the Call and Post. I was young too, very
learn it. So I want to delve into that a little bit deeper because some people don't necessarily come back from that. Everybody doesn't take criticism well. Everybody, and when you're in the field of journalism, you really have to have a thick skin because everything you write or everything, that sounds like a good idea in your head isn't going to translate as well to other people when they're reading it, So tell me about kind of a little bit more about that process and why did it make you like keep going as opposed to being like, all right, I don't know if I want to do
right,
this.
man, forget this.
Now you've got so many other things added to. I mean, you're like an author and you ended up getting your degree in journalism, went back, got your master's in English. So that didn't deter you at all.
No, definitely not. The biggest thing, well, first I gotta credit two people. I had a high school teacher by the name of his name was Mr. Courtney, Scott Courtney. And he was a very, very harsh grader, but
and what school is this?
This is Horizon.
That was at Horizon.
At Horizon, okay.
Academy, yeah. And he was really harsh, and but I liked it, you know, because I don't know, it was just something in me. And I will say I had like a tough love mom growing up too, so I think like that might have added to it too. But it was Mr. Courtney, and then it was this guy, it was a journalist by the name of Justice Hill.
That's our man.
Oh, we know Justice Hart.
Justice is a really good friend of my uncle, Alan Whitt, or Dwayne Whitt, as some people know him. And so they're really good friends. And so that summer after I graduated from Horizon in 09, that was my high school year. And he was like, yo, I'm going to link you up with two of my homeboys that I'm real cool with in the journalism game and just, you know, black men that he rock with. One of them was Justice Hill and the other one was Branson Wright. And so I met up with them.
Love Branson.
That's our guy too.
Man. So, geez, man, you know what I mean? And I met up with them. And Branson gave me this real thick packet, and I went through I was reading the packet, and they both kind of schooling me, like one sitting here, another one sitting here, and they just like, you know, all this game that they had gotten from, you know, going to college. Because Justice went to Ohio State with my uncle, my uncles and my dad, and so just getting that early on, just them telling me, and then literally like within like weeks, I was with Rhonda, you know what I mean, like grinding my, you know, all that stuff. Just all of that, it just came on me, you know, just like, you gotta take criticism, bro. Like, it's like, there's no way around it. Like, if you want to do anything creative, like, you have to be open to criticism. And, you know, being a you know, inspiring, you know, screenwriter, you know, looking to get, you know, produced and stuff, like, that's like a big part of that too, you know. It's like, you gotta learn how to get rejected, you know, and you know, it hurts. You know, it's not like it don't hurt. Like, you just go through it like, oh, yeah, I got rejected. Like, no, it hurt. Sometimes you got to take time. You know, I got rejected by a lit manager at the end of 2020. And it didn't stop me or nothing, but it was like for like a few weeks. Like, sometimes you got to sit back and go, I got to just, sorry about that. Here we go. You just got to take it in. You got to soak it in because it's going to make you better. You know what I mean? 9 times out of 10, in my experience, criticism is like, it's something to help you out. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's never been personal to me. It's never been like, oh, you can't do this, or, you know, it's always been like, hey, tighten this up. You should do this here. You know, this is where transition comes in. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to take criticism, you know, in anything creative. In my, you know, in my philosophy, that's how I feel about it.
Hey, at the root of the word is critique. You have to be able to be critiqued. Sometimes we look at it as something negative, but it's something positive to make you better. That's if you have that drive to accept that criticism or to be critiqued. A lot of people can't be critiqued. So yeah, and that's a problem. So I'm glad that was a stepping stone. But yeah, man, you shouting out three nice mentors to have. You know, all those are our crew: Rhonda Crowder, Branson Wright, just Professor Justice B. Hill, all good people that I'm glad that you came across their path at an early part of your game. So, you know, good big ups to you for meeting, and big ups to Branson, Rhonda, and Justice for sure.
Yeah, I thank all three of them.
So you've since gone on to do great things, bigger and better things. You made a move from Cleveland to LA. So how long have you been out there, and how's LA treating you?
I've been out here for like 3 years because it was like I had to come back to finish my master's back to Cleveland, and then came back. So it's been about 4 years. in total. LA is great for me. Right now, me and my wife. It's a monster though. It's like because it's LA. It's like it's. I think they just found out LA and New York are like the two most expensive places in the world to live. And I was like, congratulations, like you can afford to be like a broke person in one of the most expensive cities in the world. But it's cool though, man, because I really like it. I love the Midwest. Like I'm just Cleveland through and through. Like I even have on like my Ohio hat. And
see you rapping.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Like everything. If anybody who meets me who's not from Cleveland, the first thing they're gonna tell you is like that dude loves Cleveland. Like I brag about the Browns, the Cavs, the Indians. Like even with the season the Browns has had, like I still can brag about it because it was like it wasn't abysmal. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Right.
3 and what is it now? The record would have been like 3-14. You know what I mean? But I digress. It's sports for another day. But
We got to
yeah,
protect the land.
yeah. I love my city through and through. But yeah, man, I just um what was I saying? Oh, LA is great. It's a place that's forced me to learn. You know, it's like you always see it's a couple of quotes that you see that bounce around that it's like one of those things like, all right, this is actually a true like testament of humanity. It's when you're like the least comfortable is when you really learn who you are. And me and my wife like really establishing ourselves in LA during the pandemic was like that showed a lot of character in me and her and I think us as a unit. And so like LA has been great. It's taught me a lot of tough lessons. There's still like a lot of things that I want to accomplish out here. A lot of things that I know I will accomplish out here. But you know, it comes with the the pros and the cons. You know, the commute to work is crazy. The traffic is crazy. Taxes are crazy. But
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
that.
but then it's like the weather. You know.
It's that right. It's
Right.
a give and take. But roll us back. Let the people, let the Chill Talk audience know what brought you to LA, what you're doing in LA. We know that you're out there working and living and surviving in LA. Let the people know what you're there doing and how you got there.
So yeah, so right now, well, I got out here because, like I said, I'm a screenwriter, looking to get produced and stuff, and I was like, yo, I got to make the move. I had spoken with a few people at Cleveland State, Frederick Leahy, and then I spoke with Ivan Schwartz, who used to head the film commission,
The film
and
commission.
then I met some people through this old organization now defunct, but they were called Scenarios USA. And so just talking with people who had worked in the film, like actual film industry in New York and LA, it was like the writing was on the wall. It was like you have to be there if you're gonna do it. You know what I mean? And so I was like, well, I'm gonna just scrounge up how much ever money I can, and I'm gonna just move out there. So in 2018, as a college student, I was able to like save up like $4,000, and I was like, I'm gonna just come out here and see what happens. And I came out here, and I lasted for like 3.5 months, and then I came back to Cleveland to finish up grad school. But I was like, I had already had a taste. I was like, I couldn't come back and just stay. I was like, I gotta go back. And so I told my wife, like, this is the plan. And then we saved up $3,800 together. And 4 years later, 3 years later with her, we still here. You know what I mean? And it was a lot. You know what I mean? But like I said, that passion for being a writer and wanting to get into film and having worked as a PA on like Netflix shows, like Lucifer. I worked on Lucifer for a little bit as a PA. It was those experiences that you were like, all right, I'm where I'm supposed to be. Like I had this one full circle moment my first time when I was out here in 2018, where I was working on Lucifer for the first time, and I was on the Warner Brothers lot, right? And I just got on like my beat up Nike tennis shoes, my little jeans and t-shirt, and I'm walking in, and I'm like, yo, this could be like the first step in like my future, And you're on the historic Warner Brothers lot in Burbank, and I was just a PA, just a day play. I made like $200 for the day, right? But I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like I'm kind of in the game right now, like I got a foot in. And now it's like I have mentors who, you know, I got one who's a director, one who's an actual working TV writer who he works on the Star Trek show, the animated one on I think it's Paramount. He works on another show on HBO Max with one of my heroes, JG Quintel, called Close Enough. It's like adult, because I like animation. I like adult animation, like Family Guy and stuff. So that's what I hope to, you know, write in the future. But like I have like mentors, like his name's Chris Cooler. I have mentors like Chris Cooler, you know, who I can like. He's from Michigan, and like just today I was texting him. We were teasing each other about Ohio State, Michigan. You know what I mean? But like being at it, like just being in LA, like with, you know, to have those kind of connections now, it's like it's crazy, you know, and it's just, you know, it's wild. But then even on top of that, right now, you know, to pay the bills, I teach at an independent school in Santa Monica, and that's crazy because, you know, I teach creative writing, and I also teach the school magazine. I'm an advisor on the school magazine and the academic journal, and that's still in the vein of writing. So it's like I get to help these young people just like create and find themselves, you know. They're so young, 14, 15 years old, they're still discovering who they are as people. And you see that in their writing, you know what I mean? So just to be able to find myself at 30 years old, I'll be 31 in July, my entire life is writing right now. And I don't know a lot of people at my age who can say like their passion is their life right now. You know what I mean? Like everything that I do when I wake up and I go to work, you know, I teach a class, a senior English class that's about hip hop lyricism. I love rap, bro. Like I can talk to 17, 18-year-old kids about our love of Future, Kanye West, and Farside, and Tribe Called Quest all in the same class. Like that's crazy to me. You know what I mean? So it's like LA has given me a lot, and it tests you every day. You know, just like life will, period. But like everything right now in this city that I have is just, I'm very grateful for it, and it shows like the move that I made was like, it was for a reason. You know what I mean? It was for a reason, and a lot of things are still coming to fruition for me. You know what I mean? So I'm just thankful to still be in LA, to still be
Hey, bro, and
head.
I congratulate you, man, because I know, and not just, you know, and I'm sure that's just not the story for people in Cleveland, but people all over the United States head out to LA and take that whooping and come back home, you know, and they took that beat down because it's very competitive. It costs a lot to live there, and you got to be on the grind to make it work for you. So I know a lot of people that had to come back home and stay home. So congratulations to you and your effort. And Felicia, we need to hook him up with some of our people there in the biz. Like
yeah,
Shay.
A lot of Cleveland folks out there.
Abdul Williams,
with.
Who's from Cleveland. He wrote the New Edition story, the Bobby Brown story, and Salt and Pepper joint. He's from Cleveland.
So many, it's crazy because I ended up
doing production.
I know that name. I know that name, Tracy Potts. That's a big name.
Yeah.
In the Black Hollywood circle. I met this comedian out here by the name of Dave Hellum, who's from Chicago, and getting to meet him and like know him a little bit. This is like pre-COVID. The amount of like Cleveland people, like, you know, not just black, but just overall, who have contributed and like still work in the industry is like mind blowing to me. Like one of the original producers on Modern Family, right, was from Cleveland. The Russo brothers are from Cleveland. You know what I mean? Like just everything, you know, just Cleveland, period. You know, like Steve Harvey. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy, like how much that Drew Carey, Halle Berry. I mean, we can go down even to my age group with MGK. You know, it's like there's so many people from Cleveland who like these are big names. Like,
right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like A-list names, all from Cleveland. Right. Like it's dope. It's dope to see that. Like I just, like I said, I brag on my city so much. Like people just really don't know how amazing we are as a city. Like I really don't think people understand. Like, and I think that a lot of that is why I survived out here, is that Cleveland grit of, you know,
absolutely
grinding your teeth with not a whole lot in your pocket, but making something work. You know what I mean? Like I just think that's like just the Cleveland like way of life. You know, it's just grinding it out, just as gritty as possible, but you make the best of everything.
Absolutely. So speaking of that, of Cleveland and Black Cleveland, I want to hop into what you got going on. Well, this upcoming exhibit that you have. So is this going to bring you back to Cleveland?
Yeah, I'll be in Cleveland February 3rd and then March 17th for Black Cleveland. Black as BLAQUE. That's how I wanted to spell it, kind of just like the whole idea of the show is tied into that spelling. But it's an art exhibition.
I was going to ask you about that. Why it's spelled the BLAQUE? I thought it was like Eric with a Q, like Eric, like, you know, just.
It's so the art exhibit is Black Cleveland, and it's an art exhibit I wanted to do because I actually worked in the gallery when I was in grad school from 2016 to 2018, right before I came out to LA. And
I don't even think I've ever been in there in the gallery. I'm like, have I been in the gallery? Like, CSU?
Fantastic. It's a fantastic gallery. They had a gallery. It used to be on Chester back in like the 90s, like the 80s and 90s. And then I want to say like the early 2000s, but then they moved to, they're right on Euclid and 13th. They're like right there. And it's a fantastic space. I worked there for 2 years under the former director, Robert Thurmer, and assistant director, the late Tim Knapp. And I learned a lot from them. Just like I said, as a writer, I just love art, period. Like I used to like just live in the art museum. Like I would just be in there for hours when I was in college. And I just, you know, I love like I got my master's in playwriting and stuff. So it's like I just love the arts, period. And so working in that gallery was great. And I had thought to myself, you know, coming to the end of my time, and I was like, man, it would be really great if they had a Black art show. And Robert Thurmer was like, you know, we haven't done one since like, I think it was like 05, 06 or something like that. And I was like, damn, that's like a long time. And so he was like, why don't you do it? And I was like, whoa, hold on. Like I didn't really want to do the art show. But I thought about it and I was like, you know what, I worked here for 2 years. I worked with a director and curator, an assistant director and curator. It's like, I think I can do this. And so I named it Black Cleveland that way because I wanted to show just our diversity as a people, you know, that the fact that Black people were not a monolith, we're very different. You got people like me, like I consider myself, you know, just like kind of like the typical, you know, like I listen to Future, you know what I mean? Like I like wearing Jordans and Nikes. I sag my pants a little bit, right? Like that type. But then you got Black folks who, you know, like they like different types of thought. You know what I mean? Like you have Black Buddhists out here. You have, you know, Black people who, you know, really like to talk about the metaphysical and like all these different things. And like that, I think that's beautiful within us that we have like all these different ideas within us. You know, even like just political thought. Like you have Black people who sit on the other side of the aisle, and I'm like, yo, you have the right to do that. It's America. You know what I mean? And I just feel like just as Black people, as we move forward in this country, I think it's really great to just, you know, show our diversity as people. You know what I mean? That we're different within ourselves. All Black people are not the same. And that even
now, are you saying that? Are you saying talking about Black people sitting on the other side of the aisle because that's how you feel, or is this just because you're a Kanye fan?
No, it's just how I feel. It's just how I feel. No, it's just how I feel. You know what I mean? Like, hey, that man sits on whatever. I'm here for the music.
So Kanye is not canceled in your book because he didn't got canceled for quite a few people.
Yeah, he did. But for me, nah, I actually went to the Kanye Drake show with my wife at the Coliseum, and that was a crazy experience. I was
right.
You know, like, yo, this is wild. But no, I just think that.
Did any hot sauce fall out of Drake's pocket?
I wasn't close enough to see if he had any Tabasco. I wanted to see. He might have. I don't know.
I was gonna be like, is he rapping Red Hot Tabasco with
the trappies?
Yeah. A Is he a Louisiana hot guy? Like you got
Right.
the Lil Wayne connection. Lil Wayne might got him loving Louisiana hot sauce. I don't know. I don't know what his flavor. What his flavor?
With Tabasco.
Right. Well, I'm in LA. Tabasco is the thing out here. It's not so much hot sauce. It's Tabasco. So I know he got a house in Calabasas. It could be.
That could have been his welcome present. He felt like he was going to. It's the perfect time to crack it open.
Yo, when I saw that story this morning on Twitter, I think it was my wife that sent it to me. It's one of those stories like you just like, yo, Holly weird. Like that is like the only place where that kind of stuff can happen, man. It's like, and when you live out here, like you see the tinges of that stuff, and you're like, oh, yo, that could definitely, like, just any kind of crazy Hollywood thing you could think of, you just start going like, yo, that could possibly happen. Like, I just seen that kind of situation on Hollywood Boulevard, or you just like getting lunch in West LA or something. You like, yo, I definitely seen something like that. It's crazy.
That is correct. That Hollywood is Hollyweird. You're right about that.
Felicia, I don't know if he wants to just start getting his mind right now. We may have to ask him to ask a question for one of our ticket giveaways. We're giving away tickets to a Sidney Poitier screening of Heat of the Night and Lilies of the Field. So we have to give away some tickets. So maybe we'll invite you to ask our Chill Talk audience a question. Don't make it too hard. They're not trying to do all of that. But
see, when we were in the studio, it was easier. Like when we come back from break, we'll have this. So we just gotta, we gotta wing it because we ain't got no commercial break. So we'll give you a second to think about it. I'll ask a question actually, and if anybody
right now,
yeah,
okay, we got some Cleveland people. Adam showed up, so Oh, and by the way, even if the people aren't from Cleveland, you can still give your ticket to somebody in Cleveland. All right. So, but we got a bunch of Cleveland people in the audience now. So, let's go, Felicia.
So if anybody was watching or paying attention earlier on this show, then you should know the answer to this. So Sidney Poitier just passed away at the age of 94. So he was a peer of Martin Luther King Jr. They came up in the civil rights era together. So how old will Martin Luther King be this weekend had he lived to see this upcoming birthday? So
Adam, get your Google fingers ready.
I shouted it out. I said he would be the same age as my granddaddy.
That's right. So if you know how old AT is.
You know how old AT is. My grandfather just celebrated a birthday last week. And I gave him a shout out early on in the show. So.
Like
tweet this. Okay. Because that's her grandfather too.
And it's wrong.
Oh, damn.
Said they would be the same age that Martin Luther King and AT would be.
Oh, she corrected it real quick. So we have an answer. So Tweet has jumped in there with, first she said 94. Now she has 93.
Well, she came back before anybody else got a chance to beat her to it. So I think she redeemed herself. So that is correct. Martin Luther King would be 93 this Saturday if he was still here with us. So shout out to Tweets. So you get a pair of tickets.
So she needs to figure out which screening she's going to go to and which film. Either Heat of the Night, my favorite, or Lilies of the Field. And
you can't do like a double header? Like I'm gonna be here all day with my popcorn.
No, they go at the end of the film, they go usher you on up out of there. If you want to come back in and see another film, you got to pay. But for you to go in with Chill Talk, how much is it, Felicia?
This particular one is for the free.
That's what I'm talking about. Right. So Heat of the Night is showing, and this is Monday, Martin Luther King Day, MLK Day, 2 6:20 and 7:15. Lilies of the Field are showing at noon. It's showing at noon and 4:55. So you get a pair of tickets on whichever one you selected.
Cool.
So tweet, let Felicia know.
Congratulations to
Oh, Adam is jumping in there. He said 92.
Adam, how you gonna be late and still wrong?
Hey, Adam might be technical. He might be saying, how would Martin Luther King be today?
So Joel looks like he's asking a question. He said, what movie was one of Sidney Poitier's daughters in that had her part cut out from the actual film? That might be a little
was it my cousin Pam? Was it my cousin Pam, Joel? Because she was in, or was supposed to be in. I don't want to answer Joel's question, but I know she.
I thought Pam was the one that passed away. That you said when your cousin.
Supposed to be in the Warriors. He's just said the Warriors. Yeah, okay. Pam had a role in the Warriors. I knew that. Yeah, the Warriors. Yeah. So I knew that. Okay, but that's not the question. That wasn't the question. I'm not gonna win it.
That was his question.
Right. Joel has his own questions.
Right.
So yeah, Adam is saying that he's saying that that's how old Martin Luther King would be today, like right now. Adam, you better get ready for another question, Adam. Oh, and by the way, I do want to again shout out, and Brenden may be interested in this. Adam Morgan, who you see in the audience, is hot in for February Black History Month because he is a relative of the famed iconic inventor of the gas mask and the traffic light, Garrett Morgan. So Adam Morgan is a relative of Garrett Morgan, and a lot of times during Black History Month, Adam Morgan goes out and talks to the youth about Garrett Morgan, and he does an excellent job. And if anybody wants to book him, holla at me, and we'll get Adam out to where you're at. But yeah, Adam, try again, bro. We're gonna have another question. Brenden is whooping up a question, so he's been thinking about it for a while.
Well, tell us also why everybody brushes up on a Sidney Poitier facts, black facts. I want to go back to the exhibit and just tell me. So you said a little bit about how it came about with you previously working at the galleries and kind of coming into it, having this idea that there needed to be a Black art show. So how did you choose the artists that were going to be in the show? How did you set the tone? What is like other than just Black Cleveland, which is like the title, but I think it addresses some other specific issues. So can you talk about that?
Definitely. The artists that I chose are, all from Cleveland. And two of them still live in Cleveland. The first, Dakari Akil, who he grew up in the Garfield Heights area, and he actually lives out here in LA. I chose him because number one, he's a good friend of mine, and number two, he's just a fantastic artist. This year, his art has been featured in ads by Netflix and Google. He did a spread. His art was featured in an article about Raphael Warnock in the New York Times or the Atlantic. I can't remember, but he was in both of those. His work has been featured on WritersDigest.com, a bunch of big publications. He really had his coming out party. I wrote the foreword to his latest collage book, Cave Years, and he's just a really good friend of mine. I know his work. I've studied his work for about a decade now, and I just wanted to give him this opportunity. And his work deals with a lot about. He has one particular piece. I can't think of the title off the top of my head right now, but it deals with police brutality. And as a Black man from Cleveland, I know that the things that we've witnessed in our lifetime and even the things that we saw what was going on in the nation, but being from Cleveland, we saw what was going on in Cleveland too with the protests, and so that just really had an effect on all of us. And so he showed that with his work. And the other person, the next person I chose was Isaiah Williams, who I met through Dakari because they had an art collective, Lab Cab in Cleveland, with some other people like Chad Fedorovich. And Isaiah is a muralist who his murals are all over the place right now. He did the mural for the Haunted House restaurant in Cleveland Heights. He did that. He did that big mural that's on 55th with the arrows showing you the different directions of Cleveland. He contributed to that. I mean, his name is like big right now in the mural community. He does murals in Chicago. He just finished up a mural up somewhere in Michigan. His name is going crazy right now. And through Dakari, he's also a close friend of mine now. We got real cool. We actually got closer through the process of working together in this project, going back to 2019. So I chose him. And then the next person I chose was Kiera Booker, because I had, I didn't have a female artist at the time. And I was like, I gotta have a female artist, like that's mandatory. And so I found her because I put a little call out on Instagram, like, yo, I'm looking for an artist. And there were 3 women whose art really stuck out to me, but hers was the one that I chose. And I mean, I just love her style. She's a self-taught artist, and I really think that this is a great opportunity for her to get her name out there and also learn, because it's an art show, so it's going to get critiqued and all that stuff. And so, the critique will, teach all of us more. And it's just, like I said, it's just a great opportunity for an artist who hasn't had the chance to really show her work publicly, as much as some of the other artists. And then the last one was a friend of mine who his career is just really bubbling. He's just really getting it started. Davon Shepard. He's a photographer, and I was just like, hey, bro, I just really want to give you this chance. I think you deserve this. At this point in your career, I think it'd be really cool if you had an opportunity to, show off your artistic talent and just his mind. He's a very radical Black thinker, and I think that's we definitely need those type of people, in the community. They're part of the anchor, and for him to be so young and to be able to have the thoughts that he has, and I just wanted to give him that opportunity to get him out there creatively, and so just kind of, this is how it goes. You find people that you have a connection with, and you like their art, and you have an admiration for their art and their story, and where they are and where they could possibly be going. And so I just threw us all together. We're all young, between the ages of 25 and 32, I think 31. So I was like, why not? Just why not throw these guys in there and this lady, and just do something, for the community, for the city. I just love the energy that my generation has when it comes to just creative stuff. And I just look at all these podcasters and these different directors and these writers and these artists that you just all over the country, man. It's just cool to see, just kind of oh man, we're kind of growing up now, it's like we get these chances to have these types of opportunities, it's just cool to
nice.
have. So yeah.
So how do you purchase? I mean, do you purchase tickets to the exhibit? Is this
That's what I was getting ready to ask.
So this is one of my favorite things about the galleries at CSU. All their shows are always free and open to the public, always. And I think that's just something that adds to the beauty of Cleveland arts and culture, because the art museum is the same way, right? When the guy who died, his trust was like, yo, man, this thing does not always be free, And so Cleveland State, same thing, man. It's always free and open to the public. So you can just go in during the hours. They're always open was Tuesday through Saturday. I think it's noon to 5, I think, are hours, if I'm remembering correctly. Or noon to 4,
Tuesday through Saturday, noon to 5.
Yeah, and so it's always open, free to the public. When the show opens this Tuesday, you can just during the hours you can go in there, you can check out the work, read my curator statement, read the artist statement, soak in, their work, get an idea and feel for that. And then February, like I said, February 3rd is the opening reception, which I'll be there. All 4 artists will be there. We'll have a talk. You get to, meet with me and the artists, spend some time with us, drink some wine and beer on Cleveland State's dime, and, just have a cool time. And yeah, exactly. And then, what is it? Davon and Isaiah will have an artist talk, February 17th. And then Kiera will have an artist talk for Women's History Month, and that will be March 3rd. And then I will have a curator's talk March 17th. So there are multiple dates for you to come and, hear all of us speak from our different point of views about the show, interact with us. And it's just great. And I got to shout out Kendall Christian, the director the galleries at Cleveland State. He's been fantastic. He's been a great, kind of like mentor in a way, as I've been, learning through this. His career is very long and illustrious, and even goes to him working, I think, at the Library of Congress, if I'm not mistaken. So he's had a very successful career and is now back solely in art now, being the director at Cleveland State's art gallery. And so I just thank him for, just keeping true to Robert's promise and commitment, because he didn't have to. He didn't have to do that, but Robert told him, like, hey, one of my former student workers had this really cool idea for an art show, and Kendall reached out and said, would you like to do it? And here we are. And so I'm just, I'm thankful to him, really. But he's been great with anything like this. A lot of unforeseen issues have arisen, but he's been really great with helping me, work through this as a curator, just kind of getting my feet and learning.
Is it somewhere that they can go, a site or something they can go to find out about the show and the different dates and whatnot? Is it so we can make sure that we send people out that way to all the different various things and activities that are going to go on?
Yeah, so all of that stuff is up on Cleveland State's gallery's website. So that'll be, gosh, I know it's through CSU.com. I don't know. I can't think of the. I don't have my thing in front of me. But you can go to the gallery's website and Facebook page. The gallery's at CSU. They'll have all that information up. All the information is also available on my Instagram page, which is at Sneakers McGee. You can find it there. I have that stuff posted, and I post it, constantly. Just kind of keeping the the buzz going. But all those dates are available. Like I said, on the gallery website. Galleries at CSU is the actual name. Galleries at CSU, and then my Instagram page at Sneakers McGee.
Sneakers McGee.
Yeah.
So the exhibit. Go ahead.
Sneakers McGee goes back to the days when I was spending like way too much money as a college student on Jordans. Like, just like my mom just asking like another pair, and I'm like, why not? I don't have any responsibilities right now, so like, of course I'm about Jordans. Why not?
What was your favorite pair? Your all-time favorite pair of J's?
Oh man, my black and red Jordan 13s. Just because I remember when those came out when I was a kid, my mom couldn't afford the J's. So, you get older, every black man got that story where it's like, my mama couldn't afford them, but I got them when I was grown. So,
got to.
The black and red 13s.
Yeah, those my joints, man.
All right, that's
so
what's
as
up.
you mentioned, so the exhibit runs, it begins January 18th. That's this upcoming Tuesday, and it ends March 19th. So I was just wondering, because that kind of encompasses Martin Luther King Day. It starts the day after. I mean, the gallery's closed on the Monday, so it starts the day after, and then it goes through Black History Month and also encompasses Women's History Month. So was that on purpose that you chose this time, or did it just happen to work out that way?
That was all Kendall Christian's doing. Like I said, the director, he's been fantastic. He's been great. That was all him. He asked me because he was like, I was thinking it's Black, because we were trying to get some dates. And he was like, listen, it's Black Cleveland. I was wondering, we can open up after MLK Day. We can run through Black History Month and also get Women's History Month with Kiera. And I was like, that's genius. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, him, like when I heard his credentials when they were, because I was still at the gallery when they were looking for Robert, well at the time Tim's successor, and then he ended up taking over the Ford Gallery. Excuse me, the Ford Gallery. When Robert had to step down, but that was all him. That was all Kendall's doing. He fucked that all up, and I was like, when he said it, I was like, that's genius. Of course, it was just a yes for me.
Mm-hmm. And this is your first time curating an event, an exhibit?
Curating an exhibit, yeah. I've done public events in the past. Like I've done public readings. I actually did a public reading with Rhonda. That was like my first time doing a public event. That was in 2017.
Was that on Coventry?
Yeah.
Yes, I came out to. I remember that.
yeah, that was my reading. And it was I think it was Max Bax.
Max Bax, yeah,
Max
I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, that was my first thing, and then I did a stage reading on my first short novel. I did that at the old Happy Dog on Euclid, and that was dope. Like that was like a great moment to me. So this is like the first public thing I've done since 2017. So it's been a while, but it's my first art show. It's my first curated art show, and it's been a lot. It's been a lot. I will say that. I wouldn't lie to you. It's like and it's not the work. It's the all the things that come with it. Just making sure your artists got what they need, making sure that all the directors' questions are answered, making sure that me myself that I'm comfortable with the work that I'm putting out there. Like I said, as a writer, I wrote my own curator statement. With the help of the artists, I put their artist statements together, and it's a lot, but I love it though. I operate off good and happy stress is what I call it. So like when you work in what you love and what you do, that's happy stress to me. And it's kind of like that little fire, like that little weird thing in your belly where you're like, I don't know how this gonna go 2 months from now, but I'm gonna get up and do it because I love it. You know what I mean? And so
that drive.
Yeah.
That's that drive. Hey, and while you're thinking, I don't know if you thought of your Sidney Poitier question, but let me ask you this real quick. Because you're you're also as a writer, but also involved in art. What artists influenced you? Who did you go and check out? What artists moved you and got your energy flowing? Like, okay, that's slick right there.
Yeah, there's a few actually. Just because of his story, Basquiat, like being a black man at that time, just like everything that he did is like it's so understated everything that he's done. Like that, at that moment, and he was so young, like I learned about him in college, and I was like, that is just amazing. Like I just remember watching a documentary about him and just thinking like, how could somebody so young do something so impactful and then leave the earth so early? You know what I mean? Like it's why a lot of artists like that. But in that is definitely him. And then I would say Pablo Picasso, because I bought a book about him from the art museum once about his work. And there's this, people call it the Blue People piece because I can't remember the actual name, but it's called the Blue People piece.
Right, but it's doing his blue period.
Yeah, exactly. And the CMA owns that piece. And the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, it's cool. But then I went back and I read about it. That, and it's another piece where I can't remember the name of that one either, but it's like a body and it's like a bull head on it. And I love like World War II. I love war history. I'm a big war film buff and all that. And so like just how World War I shaped a lot of his art in that period, to me, it was like that kind of made me realize like, okay, abstract art isn't just this stuff that people throw on a canvas. There's a lot of thought and methodology behind it. And so that kind of opened my mind up to art a little more in my early 20s. And I was like, yo, this is like, I think I really do like art, which ended up getting me, in at the art gallery, which when I was there, I was the only student worker. There was about like 8 or 9 of us. I was the only student worker who was not an art major.
Wow.
Like yeah.
Well, you followed two very interesting cats, man. Jean-Michel Basquiat, and I have my Basquiat story where I'm just sick about, I gave away like a collectible of Basquiat's that don't even get me started talking about it. But anyhow, and Pablo Picasso, you know, so many great stories about old dude used to just roll up in restaurants and not pay. He would just draw some stuff on a napkin and leave it. And hey, and them joints is like worth $1 million.
Right.
Oh, Picasso was that dude.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing about it is like he knew he was great, and it's like it's the arrogance of greatness that sometimes you just kind of go like I said, back to Kanye, it's like it's the arrogance of greatness where you're just like when you kind of know you're like great at something, you just kind of like I'm gonna just kind of carry myself a certain like Michael Jordan, like when I watched The Last Dance, his arrogance, right? But it's like the arrogance of greatness. It's kind of like in some ways and you know different forms you kind of earn that because it's like you've captivated people for so long with so many different things, and you know it's just kind of like you know Michael Jordan can kind of look at you on a golf course and say you're not going to beat me on this golf course with a fat cigar in his mouth because he's been doing it since he was like 24 in the 80s. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what's up.
Absolutely.
Felicia, can we give away another? Can we give away a ticket?
Sure.
All right. Does the brother have a question for our Chill Talk audience?
I do. I got this question. I was thinking about it. I thought about it for a while, and I stayed in line with you know black activism and Hollywood and all that. So recently, I was watching a CNN docuseries on late night television, and there was an episode with Johnny Carson. They called it The King of Late Night. That was the name of the episode. And they talked about Johnny Carson and you know his entire rise and his reign and all that. But during the protest and you know that followed you know MLK's assassinations and all that stuff, Johnny Carson no, it was before MLK got assassinated. Actually, it was like a few months before. Johnny Carson asked a activist to be a co-host and host MLK on the show, and I would like to ask everyone who was the guest host on that episode.
So the clue is he was an activist
and an actor. Yes.
Hey, Adam, I know you got this, King. Shelly Shockley's in the building.
Okay, ask the question one more time.
All right, so
I'm gonna type it in the chat.
All right, so who was the guest host Johnny Carson invited on his show to host Martin Luther King, or was it the Late Night Show?
The Late Show.
Which one?
The Late
Show. The Late Show. In
excuse me, the Tonight Show.
Yeah, the Tonight Show in 1968. The Tonight Show. Yes. I want to make sure I got that date right. I believe it's 1968.
All right, let's see if Adam, come on, bro, go ahead and get those Sidney Poitier tickets. Serge, win them tickets and give it to your brother like you did before.
Yes, it was 1968. All right.
Okay, Joel answers the question. Now, who Joel go give the information to? Who we gonna give a ticket to? I don't know. First of all, let's confirm because that's the answer I would have given. So Joel, who's in New York, just answered Harry Belafonte.
Correct, Harry Belafonte.
Joel, see now what you
that would have been my guess as well.
And that was his man. They Sidney and Harry Belafonte. Harry Belafonte was for sure on the forefront of activism his whole entire life. I want to know how Joel is who he's going to give his ticket to. Who you know in Cleveland? Did you? We'll let you.
We might have to find somebody to give. We might have to give that one away on social media or something. His ticket.
I also
Joel.
Go ahead, Brenden.
I have a Sidney Poitier movie recommendation. You know, because we have that. You know, I'm a filmmaker or whatnot. Paris Blues. He was in that with Paul Newman. I really like that movie. I saw it at the CMA Cinematheque some years ago with a dear friend of mine, the late Jerry Maddox. that was it was a really cool movie to see. It was a romantic movie about Paul Newman and Sidney Poitier were jazz or blues musicians, and they were in Paris for the summer, and they both fell in love with these women, and it was like a whole like summer fling type deal. But it's a great movie.
Yeah, no.
Sidney Poitier. He did, him and Paul Newman, they both did their thing in that movie. It's a classic for sure.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
And I'm gonna throw out For the Love of Ivy on there. That was it starred Abby Lincoln, that was, used to be married to Miles Davis. And I believe Abby Lincoln might have played Spike Lee's mother in one of those films that started off with Spike as a young guy. But yeah, Abby Lincoln was in For the Love of Ivy in a romantic thing. Real quick, because I know people go and check. Sidney Poitier's daughter who died is Gina, my cousin, but not Pam, who Joel shouted out that was in the Warriors. But yeah, Gina is also my cousin, but she's one of Sidney's daughters.
Now you said she wasn't your cousin when I mentioned it earlier.
Said Pam.
No,
Pam
at the beginning of the show.
You know what? Hold on.
They were his cousins, and I said, "Well, he had a daughter that died too." He gonna say, "That one wasn't my cousin."
That wasn't my cousin Pam. Okay, but that was my cousin Gina. So yeah.
So actually, you brought up Harry Belafonte. So I was going to do a true or false question. So I was gonna wait until we're supposed to have a second guest.
Felicia, Adam answered Harry Belafonte just now.
He wants them tickets. Well, maybe Brenden, do you have anyone in Cleveland that maybe would want to go see a free film starring Sidney Poitier on Monday? So think about it. If you got anybody in Cleveland that may want to go, since it was your question and the person who answered is not here in Cleveland.
And doesn't know somebody in Cleveland. He said, I'm the only person in Cleveland that he knows. Ansar was in the building and he's back out, Felicia.
Okay. Yeah, he sent me a text saying that he was caught up with something. So
okay, he's back. He's back in the
room. He's here. Okay. Well, we can bring him on and I'll ask the question when he's in here.
Okay, I'm a little man.
We'll give Adam a chance to redeem himself. Let's see.
My brother, he's coming in. Let's see if we can get he's connected to his audio. All right, now all he has to do is unmute, and he's in. If you can hear me, go ahead and unmute. There you go. Let me hear you so I know that he can hear you.
How you doing, brother?
There we go.
My brother. Hey. How are you? Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Well, welcome. First of all, I'm glad you were able to join us as we sign off. So get ready to throw y'all peace signs up and stay back. I'm just joking.
You gonna do it like that?
Yeah, you feel me? Yeah.
So we were just talking to our other guest we've had on this evening is Mr. Brenden Whitt, who is getting ready to curate his first exhibit at the galleries at CSU, and it's called Black Cleveland. So sounds like it's going to be something really, really awesome. And I want to backtrack for just a second because Brenden was talking about in the exhibit some of the things the artwork will kind of talk about, like, showcase some conversation pieces. And one of them was police brutality. So we're talking about that, the art show, but we're also talking about Dr. King tonight because the art show starts the day after Martin Luther King Jr. Day. On purpose. It'll run from there through Women's History Month. And so we've been kind of mirroring the two. And so for those who don't know, our next guest who just came on, Brother Ansar Bustamante, or you may know him as Andre Bustamante, is the son of John Bustamante, who, man, that name just holds a lot of weight here in Cleveland. His father created the first black bank, was also a former owner of the Call and Post newspaper. So Brenden was an intern with us at the Call and Post.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
and just to let you know that the Bustamante started it all off with me. I was hired by the Bustamantes, and specifically Ansar's sister. That's well, both of your sisters are my people. But yeah, Kamala's the one who brought me to the paper, and certainly, you know, all of you all are like my family. Ever since. So love all the Bustamantes.
Yeah. So we I'm just kind of trying to tie us all together. So we all are Call and Post folks up in here. And we are celebrating MLK Day in more ways than one. And I was looking up I was looking up some stuff on Dr. King, and I found this quote that says, and he made this quote was in 1967. So if you guys don't know, Dr. King spent like almost a whole year here in Cleveland, helping with the Stokes campaign, helping him get elected for mayor. And he spent a lot of time in Cleveland. So he was quoted in Cleveland as saying, we're concerned about the problem of police brutality and the oppressive methods of policemen. So King said this at a news conference in June of 1967. We have seen situations that give us the impression that certain segments of the police force are almost seeking to invite a riot in the Cleveland community. So I'm like, man, this is in 1967. We talking about like 60, like 60 years ago, almost 55 years. Like, we're still talking about the same stuff. We still have these art exhibits, like, you know, Brenden is putting on, that reflect the same things.
I have a reflection on that. Even it's like when the Rodney King beating happened, I was a toddler. Like, I was like, I don't even think I was a full year old. I might have been like 1 or 2 when it happened. And so, you know, the fact that happened, yeah, the fact that happened, you know, and then it's like, you fast forward, it's like, you know, a lot of people forget when I was in high school, the Gen 6 had happened. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, like, just, it's crazy. You know, it's like, that's just the conversations that we got to just keep having over and over and over again. It's like, am I going to have a son or daughter that's going to be 30 one day, and they're going to sit up and like, are they going to have the same conversations that my granddad, you know, RIP, he was born in 1926 and would tell me that stuff, and like, he had to sit up and watch, you know, the stuff that happened, you know, like Tamir Rice, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's you know, I'm preaching to the choir, but it's just, you know, it's just every generation. It's like we all had that reflection moment where it's like, damn, that happened then, and I'm living in this moment now, and it's still going on. Like, it ain't no different. It's like, you know, I grew up on social media. You know, I had MySpace, Facebook at 14, 15. It's like, now we looking at the stuff on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and it's like, you know, it's like, it's crazy. My mom said, she said they've been doing this to us. It's just now we got actual video footage. That's how she put it.
Yeah, and it's what you're saying is interesting, because it makes me think about what's going on now too, in terms of like this whole critical race theory thing. We Chill and I had a show about this a couple months ago, and where they're trying to take, you know, out of the schools teaching about race. And it's like, you know, if you don't know where you come from or what has happened to you, then the history has a tendency to repeat itself. You know, you got to be able to know these things in order to keep them from happening. So yeah, it's and
specifically, who were the people that were committing the atrocities against us also gets lost in that whole critical race theory issue. So that's information that we can't afford to lose about this country and how this country was created.
Absolutely.
And Ansar, Shelly Shockley, another one of our Call and Post family, is in the chat, and she says for you to quit trying to look so mean and hard. Now he's smiling. She's,
I'm not, it doesn't take an effort. I'm just getting over the COVID, and I'm actually wondering, am I over it? Because my body's getting sore again today.
Mhm.
But I was going to say, when you were talking about we face the same issues, I was on a call earlier. That's what took me so long to chime in with this company that we started to produce high quality CBD oil. And we're facing the same problem as to why my dad started the bank. And that is we have lack of access to capital. We got a loan, an injection from the city to get some of the initial equipment, and were promised by a investment group an SBA-backed loan, and we're hashing out that they want to redo the terms now that we're actually getting ready to do this. And it's the same old thing. I was telling my partners, I feel lucky that we're actually able to sit at the table, and it seems like we'll be able to get it done, because back in the day, it was almost virtually impossible. And when you talk about the things that we face then being the same things we face now, one of my favorite stories, which I'll talk about probably on Friday, is that when Dr. King was here helping with the campaign, he was actually Carl Stokes' campaign manager. And a lot of people probably don't remember the name John T. Corrigan, but he had the same weight and bad connotation that Bull Connor did down in the South. John T. Corrigan was horrible here in Cuyahoga County. He kept his foot on everybody's neck to make sure you were kept in check. And the people from the Board of Elections came to him and said, King doesn't live in Cleveland, therefore he can't be Stokes' campaign manager. And the call went out in less than an hour, and most of the money came from C. Wright, Old Man Sumter, Reggie White, some of the numbers runners. They had $100,000 in a bag. They went and bought a house on East Boulevard. W. Walker had AP and Ricky go with the Call and Post trucks to that guy, the Jewish guy on 55th, and bought furniture. They went and put it in the house, took a Polaroid, went back to the Board of Elections, said, okay, he lives here now what? You know, and that's how they used to roll back in the day. I mean, it didn't even take an hour, and had it all set up. And he stayed in the background because he knew, the whole campaign knew, that if he came out front, that would be the rallying cry for the anti-Black vote and whites on the West Side to make sure that Stokes didn't win. I mean, they went so far as that when the night of the election, he stayed in the hotel room down at the Hollenden House. He wouldn't even go to the victory celebration for fear of what he was talking about, starting a riot, because it was pretty contentious that night that he won. You know, they were ready to go. All they needed was a spark, and it would have been over. And I remember when we did, Felicia, when we did that interview over there with the Shaker Heights Christian Church, the other thing I remember about Dr. King and coming to Cleveland was that the first place that he actually spoke was at a Jewish temple. And that was before he went to the church. There were no Black churches that would allow him to come. They were scared. And the first place he did speak was at Olivet. And Carol Hoover's father, Odie Hoover, was pastor. And they wanted to get him out of, they wanted to run him out of the church. And I'm like, here in Cleveland, you have all these Black people with a connection and a King story. And what I remember is y'all didn't want to let the man even speak here because you were scared. And, you know, the speech that he made was one that he was making. It was almost like a stump speech everywhere he went because he was such a lightning rod. But at the time, once the election was over, people were quick to forget the two marches that he led here that no one ever really talks about. And one was for seal test and the other was for pick and pay. And back in the day, seal test, when you had the milkman, they used to bring the milk and butter to your house, put an order in, they put it in the milk chute. And they had no black drivers, no black clerks, same thing at pick and pay. And he led the protest march with them to get them integrated. It was interesting, Hillside Old Dairy, which is still around, now no one has milk delivered home. It all goes to the stores. And they deliver, and they still have a pretty diverse group compared to some of the other companies that are around here and in the country that are basically were and still are all white. So again, here we are fighting the same battles that we were fighting before. Just, you know, the war never ended. Not a whole lot changed. So I'm excited about. I want to see that exhibit, and I just found today on my Facebook feed, I'm connected with we have a pretty active alumni group at Boston University, and Liz Walker, who is chair of a Martin Luther King Foundation in Boston. She used to be a newscaster there for like, I don't know, 30 years back when I was in college. That was a long time ago. She and this other gentleman put together an actual a movie that they're going to start showing on the 19th. I just emailed him today. I said, I wish I had known, because it's about the early days with King when he was going to school in Boston and when he first went back to Atlanta to start preaching. And there's not a lot of material that shows what he was doing back then, but I want to make sure that we get hooked up with that too. I want to follow up with, we're supposed to be doing a part 2 of what was done in Shaker, but more in depth about, you know, the King connection here and not so much about what he did over there at the church. I mean, it's all good. Everything needs to be covered, but a lot of times we need to do it from our perspective.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So let me give a little bit of context to what you're talking about to some folks who are watching. So what Ansar's talking about in terms of the Shaker project, in particular, that Heights Christian Church, which has been a I don't know if you want to say white-owned church or predominantly, at least during the time when Dr. King came to speak, and I want to say that maybe that was in 65, it was predominantly white. There was like literally 1 to 2 Black members, one of which was Vel Scott, who some of you guys may remember. Vel's on the Circle, the club Vel's is legendary in Cleveland, but her family, they were members of the church at that time. So former Mayor Jane Campbell, her mother, Joan Campbell, and her father, they attended that church also at the time. And so as their story goes, they invited him when their pastor was out of town. They invited him to come and speak at Heights Christian Church in Cleveland. And so once, you know, they told the pastor, it was kind of like, well, you've already extended the invitation, so I guess we'll go ahead and do it, kind of thing. But there was also supposed to be a luncheon set up with it. And they were like, we can't do the luncheon, but he can come in and speak. Fast forward to the day that he got there, it comes up that he was supposed to speak inside in the sanctuary. And at that time, I think the sanctuary only held a few hundred people, maybe 500 people or something. And they were like, oh, the sanctuary is being renovated or about to be renovated, so he's going to have to speak outside. You know, they claim this definitely was happening before he got there, but it seems, you know, like one of those eyebrow raisers. But nonetheless, Dr. King had to speak outside on like a kind of a porch area on the side of the church. But the way that it worked out is like like I said, you can only hold 500 people inside the sanctuary. Well, he drew like well over 1,000 people out because it was outside. So people were able to stand, across the street and just kind of like get in where they fit in. And he gave a speech at Heist Christian Church in Shaker, which is now a Black church, ironically, as of recent. I think some people bought it and they took it over. The people who were in charge back when we did a documentary about Dr. King coming to visit that church back in 2018. And just recently they sold the church. So that's a little bit of context on that part. Another one of Dr. King's visits, and this was in 65. So this was before the whole, all that time, most of 67 that he spent here working, as Ansar mentioned, as Carl Stokes' campaign manager. Also want to give some context on you saying when you're talking about Boston University and things like that. So what you're referring to is the college that Dr. King went to along with your father, John Bustamante, and they were actually roommates, correct?
That's right.
Yep.
So did they meet each other there, or did they have any connection beforehand?
They actually met there. And
Wow.
and my dad actually met. This is a story Dad told me that I'm really not supposed to repeat because other people make other claims. But the truth of the matter is he actually met Coretta first. She was at Berkeley School of Music over on Mass Ave and invited her to, they used to have what they call debates at Miles Standish. It's one of the oldest dorms there at BU, and that's where they stayed together for a semester before Dr. King got his own apartment over in Roxbury. And he invited her to come. And I'm going to send you the link because it was actually the last interview that my dad did was with BU Today. It's a magazine up there on campus. And they saved, there's like a 2-minute audio clip when he was talking about when she walked in and Dr. King he said, how my dad talked, he was very impressed with her. She had that light skin and those big legs. And I really can't tell you the rest of what he said, but suffice it to say this, my mom was at Spelman and she was graduating. And Dr. King had his father deliver he was the keynote speaker at her graduation. I got a picture of that too. And he told her that, you better get up to Cambridge. And, this young lady's up there chasing John because mom and dad were high school sweethearts. And she went up there and they wound up getting married in Cambridge.
She broke that up.
Huh?
She went and broke that up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But Dr. King was the one that started that. He told his father, once the ceremony's over, let her know what's going on. I mean, there's more to the story that I can't say, but it was funny nonetheless to hear how they used to do things back in the day and things never changed. But he was that interview, I actually wound up trying to sue the magazine. So they did an extensive interview that's all on audio. It was over an hour. So I was trying to get that to, I wanted to add some more excerpts into the book that I'm finally getting finished so that there would be there was also an interview that Dad did with Village Television here in Cleveland. So I wanted to include some of that audio and some clips from that interview as a bonus that would come to the book, because it's all about things that he was talking about with Dr. King. But yeah, he was very impressed with her when they first met and they started dating. And I still have.
Wait, you talking about she started dating Dr. King or she started dating your daddy?
She started dating Dr. King. there was never anything official going on between Dad.
And
You know,
that's-
she liked Cleveland man because she was engaged to Robert Madison before she married Dr. King.
Right. A lot of people don't remember that.
Yeah, the architect,
Julian
Robert Madison.
brother, Madison and Madison International.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Cleveland has like so much history with man, all this stuff that a lot of people don't know, that a lot of stuff I didn't know until, till more recent years. Just finding out new information, and which brings me to something else you mentioned, Ansar, when you were talking about you were going to speak on Friday. So what he's referring to there is a movie. There's going to be a movie screening of the film MLK FBI at Umbar, the Umbar Cafe on Larchmere this upcoming Friday. Doors open at 6. The film will start at 7. And Ansar will be there to speak, to tell some of these same stories and maybe some more information, share some things about Dr. King. He's also shared some awesome photos with me that he's had, some family photos that we will have on display of Dr. King, actually in their family home and with his dad and with Carl Stokes. And they are really, really great photos. Ansar is like sitting on his lap, like, hey, Uncle Martin.
I'm laughing because I was going to have Sonali come with me, but she got COVID last week, so she's grounded.
Oh, no.
But they're always trying to go where I go, because that picture of me sitting next to him, Sonali's on one side of me and Kamala's on the other side of Dr. King. But I thought, I just needed to zoom in and cut them out of the picture. So they're always waiting. He wasn't the only one that was sitting there, with their picture. But in light of what that film is about, we knew. I mean, that picture was taken down in the basement of the house we lived on Milverton, and he actually started coming to Cleveland after Mom and Dad got here in '54. I mean, they would come all the time, and we knew without anybody telling them. When I say we, all the kids in the neighborhood, because back then, Ohio Bell was the phone company, and you would see the guys out there. They would be putting the wiretaps up on the pole right there in that field across from where they just built all those townhomes on Onaway. Mm-hmm. And we would be out there joking with them. And they would be like, yeah, well, he's coming back to town. And it was no big deal that here they are wiretapping our house, trying to horn in on any conversation that they may have to be able to get some more information. And in that same light, we had the farm. We always call it the farm out in Ashtabula. It was, at one point, it was almost 1,000 acres that Dad and Walter Wills Jr. had started accumulating this land. And there was a house that was built out there, just like the one that I grew up in on Coventry. And they used to have a lot of meetings back there in the 50s and in the 60s. And there wasn't electricity. Dad had to have poles run to bring electricity to the house. They used to use these generators to power it, but they couldn't tap the phones because there wasn't one back there. And there was a lot of meetings that used to take place, like summit meetings. You'd be surprised at the people that came so that they could do a lot of planning for some of the marches. And that carried forward when Dad started working with Jesse after King was murdered. And he used to come out there for that same reason. It was secluded, it was private, there was only one, it was on an island actually, there's only one road in and out. And there was no way to have any surveillance there other than snitches in the room, which we all know that happened all the time. But it carries forward, and again, it's some of the same battles that we fought then. We fight now. One of the last things that I still haven't watch the movie, which I'm going to do before I get there Friday. But I know that everyone has seen what FBI director said, that there will be no more black messiahs. We're not, this is the last one. We're not going to allow this to happen anymore. And, you know, it always leads me to believe what I was taught and what I follow, and that's be the leader you would follow. You know, we don't have to have somebody that's popular with a well-known name to follow to do what's right. We all know what it is we need to do. We just need to do it and do more of the networking, which makes us all successful, because united we stand, divided we fall. And that goes right on down the line.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a big Jesse fan, and I never have been. You know, there were a lot of allegations made against King that were made against him. You know, that seems to be what the movie is about. Him trying to Hoover trying to divide King's family by sending those pictures to his house. And I mean, it was more than the pictures. They had the wiretaps,
Right.
of, you know, and sending those to the house. And they did the same thing with Jesse. And I remember when they were breaking the news about his child on CNN, it was during the time when I was still at the newspaper. I was at Dad's house. He had CNN on one phone. They were asking him for a quote, and Jesse was on the other line, you know, pleading. I'll just put it like that. Not to say anything, although you know the cat was out of the bag. But here it is. You know, they're trying to do the same thing to defame the man. And as we all know, you know, no, he's a human being. Nobody's perfect. You know, message was good, but you know, made a mistake like we all do.
Right.
And look where we are now. I mean, I'm asked a lot. Okay, you knew Dr. King. We saw you travel with Jesse. You know, Twan. A lot of people don't remember. He was Jesse's campaign manager in '84, right down to the very end. And when they brought in,
You're talking about your brother?
Yeah, Twan.
Your brother Twan. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just going to ask. I thought your dad was at one point was Jesse's campaign manager.
No.
It was Twan.
Yeah, was always Jesse's advisor.
Okay.
His personal attorney, and he formed the Rainbow Coalition. Before that, he formed the Push Excel group. Actually, Push itself incorporated it so that when they had the Saturday morning meetings, the property, the church, all that stuff was in one basket. He never really stepped out of the shadows. He was always working behind the scenes. And, you know, I said all that to say, I used to get on him all the time, talking about my dad. We would go back and forth, and I would ask him, why would you support Jesse, and you know he's such a slug? You know, and I don't have any, you know me, I don't have any problem ever telling the truth. After about 5 years, one day he said, well, you know, son, remember when I took you with me to Kuwait and to Saudi Arabia? That was all because of Jesse and him wanting to develop his foreign policy experience, and the leaders in the Middle East wanting to gain access to have political influence here with the United States government. He said Jesse did that when we went and met with Yasser Arafat. We met with the 7 of the United Arab Emirate leaders. He said, the watch I gave you when you turned 25, King Khalid took that off his wrist and gave it to me. I gave it to you. That's all because Jesse opened that door. And he said, I know you don't like him, but you got to look at it this way. When he was opening the door, and most of the people that were on those trips were over there trinket hunting, I was trying to conduct business. And that's how we were able to get all those loans into the bank. And the money that was given to Operation Push, they raised over like $12 million over a 5-year period. He said, when I kept going back, and when I sent you, or you didn't even know, when I sent you over there to bring documents, you were bringing checks back. And I just looked at him and I said, well, guess I can't say anything anymore. I get it, you know. I understand the assignment, as they say now.
I understand. Hey, Felicia, to go ahead and hit
I backed up off of that, and I understand, and that's really a lesson learned for me that I think other people can learn from, is that we're all human beings, nobody's perfect, but we all have to network together with, all of the good things that we do and all of our flaws. It's the only way we're going to make it work.
Man, much knowledge. Felicia, go ahead and hit him with that question that Shelly is in the chat demanding.
Oh yeah. So Shelly Shockley says, so when are you going to finish the book?
It's a lot of information.
I'm going to have it done. I will have it done this year. I'm definitely going to have it done this year.
All right. That was good. Well, we are coming up on our time. So if you want to hear more of these great stories like this and get more information, once again, please come out to Unbar Cafe on Larchmere. It's at 127th and Larchmere this Friday. Doors open at 6. The film will start at 7. It's an excellent film. Although, we are used to seeing Dr. King painted, in a certain light. He's a civil rights activist. He's a husband, a father, a reverend, a legend. And we want to continue to see him, in that way. But there are some people, the United States government in particular, who did not want to paint that picture of him and wanted to let all these other people know about, as Ansar mentioned, like, he was just a human being. We all do things, and, sometimes we do things, but in our private life, when we close the door at our house or, behind closed doors that we just think might be our personal business. But, being the people they are, and the wiretaps and just really full out harassment of Dr. King. And this film is based on that. So there's been some newly declassified information since Dr. King passed in 1968. This information has just now become declassified, and then they used it to turn into this documentary to tell another part of his story, and really how vicious, so it really, although you might find out some things about him maybe you didn't know, or see him in a different light, but that part isn't really what matters. You empathize with this man, this human, and all the weight that was on his shoulders, and just what was going on. And you're just like, man, how was he even handling this? And he wasn't even 40 years old. So
right.
Make sure you guys come out to see that film. If you cannot make it, or if you're not in Cleveland, the film is now streaming. It's an IFC film, but I believe now it's streaming on Amazon and a few other platforms. So you can Google it. It's called MLK/FBI. But definitely check that out. Great film. Also, don't forget, go check out Brenden's first exhibit as a curator at CSU, and that runs January 18th through March 17th, is it? Or 19th? March 19th. I'm sorry. 19th. I did put that in the chat as well. So you got more opportunities to come actually meet these gentlemen, speak with them. Brenden will be here in Cleveland on February 3rd. And what was the other date?
March 17th for me.
And March 17th. And Ansar, like I said, come out, check him out this upcoming Friday at Umbar. So good stuff. This was really.
Hey, Brenden, you got to sit in on a really nice build on Martin Luther King, bro.
Yeah, I was just sitting there soaking it in, like, when what I'm saying, when the OGs talk, the elders talk, you're supposed to listen. So the story he just told was crazy. It's crazy because I got a great grandfather who was a pastor. His name is Pastor Grant, and he met got to be around MLK back in those days. My mom ended up telling me that. That was like dope to hear. But just hearing, like I said,
now he's not the one that kicked Chill out of the church. Kicked Chill in his
we back.
foot.
Go
No.
ahead. I'm sorry.
But no, it's just dope. I just love hearing, like just stories like that. Like you mentioned Olivet, like my dad's parents were members of Olivet back in the day. So it's just like whenever you hear that Cleveland history like that, connected. Anytime you hear a Stokes or you hear a MLK story, when he was in Cleveland, like I didn't know that he worked until today that he worked that extensively with Stokes. Like that was cool to just hear that. Just like he basically said he was his campaign manager. Then he had to go get the gangsters. The gangsters got to go get the money real quick to buy the house.
They
Like,
got
Hey.
yeah.
This all said he called out the gangsters. He said he went and got C right.
Man, that is so pot to me. I just love, like I said, that's the power of black folks. You got gangsters who had to go get the money to make sure that a civil rights icon could, put in the work to make sure that a black mayor of a major city can get that position. Like I said, that's like the beauty of black people. It's like we're so different in so many different ways, and we can walk so many different paths, but we all still connected. Like that's a real cool, like I would write a short story about that.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. That is like really, really, really dope. That's like really cool.
All right. Well, we are past the 10 o'clock hour.
So let me ask the last question. Did you want me to ask it still?
Yes,
It's a true or false. This question is true or false.
Okay, let me make Adam, are you in here? Adam, don't try to answer the question like 10 hours after everybody already answered it. All right, Adam, get ready. I don't know if Adam is still there. Go ahead.
True or false that Harry Belafonte and Sidney Poitier took out a $50,000 life insurance policy on Dr. King? Is that true or false?
That's interesting. I don't know.
They cashed in on them.
They cash in.
They cash in on the King.
All right, Sean jumped in there and said true before Shelly said true. Shelly's in Cleveland. Sean in Nashville. First of all, let's figure out. Sean said he was first. I didn't get a chance to even say it.
Sean, you're not even here. How you going?
Sean may know somebody in Cleveland he wants to get the tickets to. But is it true or false, Felicia?
So the answer is true. So I didn't know this until recently too. One of our esteemed members of we have a local chapter of National Association of Black Journalists here, and one of our esteemed members is Mr. Dick Peary. Dick is probably pushing 90 himself.
Yeah, he's our OG. He's our tribal elder for sure.
Yeah. So he can recall. He's still very, very sharp, and he recalls a lot of things. And he just told us at the meeting we had this past weekend that Harry Belafonte found out that Dr. King did not have a life insurance policy. So he called Sidney Poitier up and and told him this, and they decided to go in together, and they paid for a $50,000 life insurance policy on Dr. King. So when he was eventually assassinated, that money was able to go to Coretta and her children because she only had $5,000 to her name when he passed.
You know what? I went a whole nother way when Chill asked that question. I'm thinking, oh, wow, they took a policy out figuring something was going to happen. But I think I gave you the picture. There's a picture of Dad sitting by Coretta's bed in Atlanta, and Abernathy and I think Jesse are in the picture. And he was actually getting her to sign the claim for that policy. That's what that was. Yeah, my words, I'm going the other way with like, oh, wow, man, that's cold-blooded. They went and got a policy.
Well, I said the question like that on
I
purpose.
was thinking the same thing.
She didn't give you the rest of the information.
It wasn't just me.
I had to set it up on purpose, to make you think. Like, is it true or false?
I was gonna say false because I was like, no, they wouldn't have said, bro.
They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that, man, like that.
Yeah, so I was gonna say false.
Okay, well, I do want to say.
They say Puffy took out Biggie.
I do want to say that Sean was the first one. His answer popped up first, but he said that he's gonna go ahead and take care of Shelly, and this Shelly can get the pair of tickets. So we'll
nice.
Jill, did you really get put out of a church, or was that just something funny?
No, I did
True or
get
false?
it. Did it was? Hey,
I mean, were you doing a live stream and asked you to leave, or was this something you did when you was little?
yeah, I was little, but they kicked me out like for life. Uh, and the end of that story, the reason that it came back up is that I was being interviewed a couple weeks back by that online newspaper, The Land, and they wanted to follow me around in Lee Harvard and talk to me. So of course I took them to the barbershop. I took them to my mama's house. We took them up to Kim Ferguson's, and we took them up to the Harvard Community Center. And we just so happened to be playing trivia with the pastor of the Lee Road Baptist Church. And he was saying, you could come up there. And I'm like, man, that's that church that kicked me out and told me never to come back. And so, yeah, he put up a big electronic sign that said, welcome back, MC Chill.
Man, what?
Hey, but I got kicked out with my two cousins. I'm like, I can't come unless my cousins. I got put out together.
Package deal.
We got to come back together. And my one cousin's in Orlando.
So that was a story, and Felicia was just messing with you. Then I got it. Okay.
I did get kicked out.
Okay.
Oh, he got kicked out.
And not only did I get kicked out, they told my parents, the only way they come back, you have to be with them. And if you with them, don't go into church. Stop in the office to have a talk with us for sitting them fools up there with no parental guidance. So
I was going to come to your defense because
I got kicked out. I did get kicked out. And my parents never did come. I was embarrassed. They never went back to the church either.
Alicia was our fashion diva. Fooling me, I had to keep looking at the camera because it looked like she had her hair out under that tam, and I was like, maybe I need to take a screenshot and take this to the mom real quick. I was gonna back you up on that, but I forgot who I'm dealing with. Fashion diva, and she do something
Fashionista Felicia
every day.
Yeah, Brandon, they kicked me out, man.
That's crazy. Oh man.
Oh, we did clown though. Brenden, we did clown though.
Don't ever.
I believe it.
Come back here.
We did clown. I had my cousin on the show maybe about a month ago, who got kicked out with me, and we recalled that when he thought that I was being welcomed back, he thought I was speaking there. I'm like, no, they're referencing us getting kicked out.
I probably got a picture of you from middle school still hanging up in the front of the church, like, do not let this guy
Not
in.
the first place I've been kicked out from. I got bans at USA Skates and the city of Warren. Yeah, I've been kicked out of it. Don't come back.
Warren ain't that big a deal, but no, you got kicked out of US Skates. That is crazy.
For life.
Man, how you get
All bands is for life.
They're probably like the second most ratchet skating rink in Cleveland behind Zelma, Georgia. You got kicked out of there.
Brenden, I got kicked out in like 1980, 86.
Oh.
Okay, but listen to this. So wait a minute.
Who you was fighting? And how many of y'all was it?
No, it actually was a full out riot. But
oh man.
When I was working at the Call Post, they asked me to come and be a judge for a celebrity skating contest. Little Bow Wow was gonna be there. It was after the roll bounce, and I was like,
okay.
"Where's it at?" They said it's at USA Skates. I'm like, "Okay, but y'all might have to go check." They was like, "Chill, you know how long that?" And they came back and said, "You know what, Chill, you can't go back."
Because I went to that.
Oh, it was like the band is still on.
I went to that Bow Wow.
Kicked out of USA back in
It's like what, 15 years later?
Right, that was like 15, 20 years after the fact.
No, the ban is still in effect.
Yo, you really messed up.
That was another. That's a lump, Brenden. That's another story, bro. Hey, was there a question? Did we give away the other ticket, Felicia?
Yeah, that was the one to Shelly.
Okay, so Brenden, Shay Chapman is in the chat now, and she's she does production in LA, and she actually is working on a LeBron James film right now. But that's one of our people. So
I should have worn my Cavs championship hat then.
so she's in the chat now. So Shay, take care of our young brother. He's in
Listen,
LA.
I'm up in North Hollywood, Shay. I'm in North Hollywood, Shay. Trying to make it happen. Holla at me. Come holla at me.
Shay, holla at him. We'll make sure we get the Felicia. Give you the number.
Yeah.
Burbank ain't nothing but a 15-minute ride from the house. You know, from my apartment. I can be at Burbank because I think Brian and them. I think they on the Warner Brothers lot if I ain't mistaken. So I could be there.
Yeah, Shelly want to know what did I do. Shelly, I'll tell you about it later.
God damn. You got banned from church and a roller rink in Cleveland, bro. You are, man. Your Sunday nights were flat. That's all I can say.
Man.
You did nothing on Sundays.
I've lived life.
So I got two last questions before we go. This is both for Ansar. One of them is, now you have come on the show before, and we talked a little bit about your story and your family being really close with Dr. King. So as we will kind of see in this movie, and it's been rumored, but you kind of can find out in this movie that Dr. King was kind of a ladies' man. So we wanted to know, we asked you this question before, but I don't think you answered. Now, did your father have any stories about when they was roommates? Like, did he ever come home and Dr. King had like the sock on the door?
Oh, no.
I like, you can't come in here.
Hey, it gives a whole different meaning to the bent to the mountaintop. I'm just saying.
I mean, that lady wrote a book. What was it called? I Slept with a Dream or whatever.
Wow.
What? I never heard about that.
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I remember Barbara Walters shared in her memoir that she slept with Sidney Poitier.
I thought that I slept with the dreamer. I thought the dream. That was about Akeem Olajuwon. I thought she slept with Akeem Olajuwon. Somebody slept with the dream.
But
he gave her the dream shake and spin.
To answer that question, they had a lot of escapades. Dr. King had a Chevy, and they used to drive to New York to listen to, it was a Cuban jazz great that they used to go up there all the time and listen to him perform. But once my mom came, all that got broke up. So
you still ain't answered the question there, Twan.
And they look so young. So you guys come out on Friday and we'll have the photos available. Ansar has been gracious enough to share this photo of his father and Dr. King when they were pledging alphas. I mean, they got like their top hats on, and they look so nice, but they look so young. I'm like, oh my goodness, but it is.
I'm gonna answer that question like this.
Oh, let me put you on the big screen. Okay, hold on there. Okay, go ahead.
In my a scrapbook that my mom made for my dad, they used to give parties. Dr. King and my dad, before they pledged Alpha, they would host these parties on campus. And a couple of people over the years have told me that they went to other schools in Boston and they attended. And but in the scrapbook was one of the invites. In fact, it was the invite of the one when they went over as alphas. And there underneath it is, my dad had a business card, because that was the thing back then. They all wore suit and ties every day to everything, had a business card. And then there was another card and it said the other card. And on the back was, I guess, my dad's home number or some other number. I don't know what it was, but that's how they used to roll back in the day. And
that's one of them cards you pass like this.
With the two fingers. You slide it across the card, just like, here you go.
You go ahead and take this.
So I asked her, I said, well, what did he used to do? She said, well, before I got there, he probably was passing them out, like, here, coffee or this, you know. He broke all of that up.
I guess we'll never know.
All right, all right. Hey, well, Ansar, make sure you tell my sisters, tell Kamala and Sonali, I send my love, and,
Okay.
and tell your brother that I miss seeing him up at the academy. I'm gonna have to get back and check him out. That's my main man. So, peace and love. I love your whole family. So
I'm going to try to bring him with me Friday because he has more stories than I do. It's like pulling teeth to get him to talk. And I'll give you one. He was Jesse's campaign manager. So you got to put it in perspective. This was 83 and 84 when they were traveling for a whole year around the world. They went to go to Nicaragua. They went to El Salvador. This particular trip, when they went to Cuba, Jesse had Secret Service detail, 12 guys. And so when they got ready to get on the plane to go to Cuba, there were only seats for 16 people. And so when Twan got there's like, none of the normal entourage was there. It was all these guys. They were Navy SEALs. I mean, he's like, man, these guys all weighed about 210. And you could tell, they had the mohawk haircuts and they were sitting there looking like their eyes were glazed. Going to Cuba, nobody had
Manchurian
been
candidate
on the inside in Cuba, so the Secret Service, they had to step aside and, he went with that small group that they never even were around to protect Jesse. As soon as they got there, most of them disappeared. Who knows what they were doing? But I mean, he has all kinds of stories that he won't tell unless you push him. Felicia can probably make him talk. That pretty smile. He'll just sit there and have those beers and start
you know
talking.
how she do it.
I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna try to bring him with me Friday.
Please do. That would be great. So I am definitely looking forward to it. I hope some of you guys can join us and also come and check out the exhibit. And I'm looking forward to both of these. It's going to be a great time.
And thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate this. I've been like bragging about it on social media and stuff. So I just, thank you. I appreciate it.
Good to meet you, brother.
We appreciate having you.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Yeah. We'll make sure that Rhonda gets that information, as well as Branson and Justice. So we talk to all of them all the time. So
nice. Tell him that Alan's nephew is all grown up now, and he found his way a little bit, just a little bit.
Hey, make sure you get up with Shay from LA, Shay Chapman, who's in the chat. She said welcome. She's already in here. She told you welcome to LA, Brenden. So
appreciate it.
Make sure we connect.
Maybe we can put together our Black journalists. We can put together a night to go out to maybe the reception on February 3rd and check them out.
Yeah, I think we can do that. Brenden, we know some people over there at the Black Journalists Association. So we can make that happen for you.
Rhonda invited me to a NABJ thing back in I think it was 2015. I went to one. It was cool. I met Marsha Fudge. I met Frank Jackson. I got to meet Chris Ronayne, president of University Circle, who is now Chris Ronayne is one of my really good and really close friends because I grew up in the University Circle area. I grew up on in Huff, and so I connected with him through that. And to this day, me and Chris we like this. That's my boy. And I met him through
at the NABJ.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Brenden.
Yeah.
Brenden, you okay? Now you know the president of the Cleveland NABJ. That's me.
What was that? You're the president?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah. I didn't know that. Oh.
And Rhonda is vice president. Rhonda and Russ Mitchell are vice presidents.
What? When did this happen? How long has this been going on?
What, 2 years? 3 years
now.
Man,
Rhonda ain't called and told me nothing.
Yeah, Rhonda's vice president.
Oh, Ron. Oh, man. See, I'm gonna have to talk to man. We done got disconnected over the past couple. I ain't even know, man. Hey, that's dope, man.
And Felicia, the ghost president. She come up and say, "Chill, we ain't doing that."
She's the what was the lady on Scandal? She's the Olivia of the
Olivia Pope.
Yeah, she's Olivia Pope. She running everything in the background for real.
Like she always.
No.
All right, we got to shut this down, guys. Also, I know you're doing that on Friday, but also we doing our re-up with part 2 to finish up with Sean. And I'll be on talking about that tomorrow.
I checked you guys out a good amount of it last week.
Okay, all right. So yeah, we were going in. So yeah, we'll talk. We'll have Dr. Cole. We'll give some more information, and this time we'll have my girl Marielle from the CLE Guardians, not the baseball team. But yeah, we gone. Felicia, anything on the way out? We almost a half an hour over.
No, I ain't got nothing else. We talked out.
All right. Well, we are up out of here, guys. You know, Ansar knows how we finish up the show. Throw up the deuces. We love you, Cleveland. We up out of here.
Peace.
Peace.